Imagine you're home alone with your spouse, or you're at a family gathering, or you're at a birthday party for one of your children. All of a sudden you look over and you see your husband or your wife grabs their chest and they make a little grunt. They fall to the floor. You rush over to them. You're panicked, you're nervous, you don't know what's going on, and you notice they're not moving and they're not even breathing. You rush over and dial 911. The 911 operator promptly picks up and asks you what the problem is. You say, "My husband has just collapsed. I don't know what to do." The 911 operator will walk you through some basic questions. Where are you located? How old is your husband? What happened before they collapsed? Soon they'll get to, do you know CPR? Now is not the time to say, no, I don't know CPR. My name's Brett. I've been a firefighter and an EMT for over a year now. I've been involved in several CPRs and had several successes among those CPRs. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the benefits of attending a CPR class and how it can directly benefit you and your family members. According to the American Heart Association, every year there's over 350,000 heart attacks that occur in the United States outside of a hospital setting. Almost 90% of those people will die, but that doesn't have to be the case. If we get CPR to the point where more people in society are knowing how to use it and using it, that number will almost certainly come down. So CPR needs to be performed within the first several minutes. Within 6 minutes, brain matter begins to die with no oxygen, and that's what CPR does. It increases or keeps that oxygen flow to the brain and to the vital organs like the heart, prolonging their life and giving them a better chance at surviving. CPR performed within the first few minutes increases the chance of survival by 2 to 3 times. So imagine right now, if you're in that desperate situation, how much you would like your spouse or your son or your daughter to have a 2 to 3 times more likely chance of staying alive. So you might be thinking, well, CPR isn't necessarily going to happen in my home. It could happen anywhere. And that's true. It could happen anywhere. But statistics say that 70 to 88% of cardiac arrests happen at home. This means statistically, if you do perform CPR, chances are it'll be on a family member or a friend or a loved one or someone who lives in your own household. This isn't something that you're going to be learning and attending a class for to help somebody you've never met before. That's a fairly unlikely possibility. It could happen, but more than likely, this is a skill you're learning for the people you love and you live with. So right now, only about 46% of people who experience an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest get immediate help. Like I said, it takes 6 minutes for brain matter to start dying. So in order for you to keep your loved one alive, CPR is the tool you have, unless you're an emergency room doctor in the emergency room, to prolong their life until fire and EMS personnel arrive. So this is one of the very rare things you can do. You can attend a short class and have a skill that could potentially save a life. There's not too many other classes out there that teach as valuable skills as these. So let's get back to that scenario. Let's say your husband or wife collapses on the floor. You run over, they're not breathing, you call 911, the operator goes through a couple quick questions with you, and then they ask you, do you know CPR? At that point, you say yes, and your training kicks in. At that point, you're doing everything you can until fire and EMS personnel arrive to keep them alive. That's a feeling that's not helpless. That's a feeling of, I've done my duty to know the basics of CPR and increase the chances of survival. So I'm not able to teach you CPR over a 5 to 10 minute video, but I am able to point you in the right direction. The American Heart Association has a list of classes in your area, and if that's too much for you, you can go to your local fire station. They'll be more than happy to point you in the right direction. So I hope I've given you enough incentive to take the small step of enrolling in a 1 to 2 hour CPR class, and good afternoon.